Hello everyone, welcome to my channel ASP.NET Core, and today I'm going to show you a new project that is how to create a task manager in ASP.NET Core. This is the very simple step you can do to use Visual Studio and create a new project that is task manager. That is the login screen. By username and the password you can just log in into the system by their identity server and by identity, and after the after adding identity into the page you can just log in and register into the system. So here we have a login screen. By using this screen you can enter into the system. If you are a manager and if you want to create a task for your employees and for your team, then you can just create a new task by their employee or the team leader. So here we have a employee at the rate of xyz.com, that is the team leader. You can say that the team leader, that is the role of in ASP.NET Core. So here we have three roles basically in our application, that is the task manager. That role is first is admin, the second one is the team leader, and the third one is the team, or you can say that the member. So a team leader can create a new task to the employees. Okay, so here we have a status message. Here we have a screen where you can say that the task number of tasks will be displayed by using the index section method in the team leader screen, where the task status like hold that is created. The first header message is the task status will display the hold, started, continuing, like that. So here we have a task title and with the task priority, that is the urgent or the normal priority, created by the username, that is the display the username or that with the date, assigned to that task is assigned to the user, that username will be displayed right here. Status, that is hold. Detail, when we click on the view more, that task detail will be described in detail view. So here we have a change status also there, and edit is also there by the team leader. And the next screen you can just create a new task. If you want to create a new task by using the modal pop-up, you can just do it. So here we have a task name, a description, a project priority, assigned to, and the status. The default status is a hold when first time task is created. So task name like web development, create a new website related to the restaurant, and the description right here. And project is related to your application. Priority is urgent. Assigned to, that is team member. Okay, so status is hold. Now just just click on the create task button. That task is created. If you want to updated the task by the employee one, if you are a team member, then you can log in into the system first of all. Then your ID will be changed on your navigation bar, that is employee one at the rate of xyz.com, and you can just update your task if you are if you want to join this task, or you can say that continuing in the task. So change the status as well of the task. So a description like that, I am starting from now, and status is started, you can say that, and update the task status by the team member. So the team leader can see the status will be changed by the team member. Did the change the status by the team member, then a team leader can see the details like started and created. The latest status message is reordered on the screen like that, date, status, user, employee, description, working, like that. So here we have a task title created by, assigned to, status, and details. Okay, so here we have a new project that is assigned by the admin. So here you can see that the navigation bar will be also changed by the admin login, admin at the rate of xyz.com. And here we have some additional CMS options like projects and the CMS. So in the CMS, that is the content management system, and in the content management system we have some provide like add new clients, add a team member details, and many more. So if you want to add projects, then just click on the projects tab, and you can just have an new project details like project name, start date, team size, active project or not, status in force or support, and the client location where the client exists. So the first thing is to add a client details and the country details also. So the client location is mandatory and the client details is also mandatory. So client location is you can say that it's a mandatory terms in to add in the new project. So CMS option is there like that: countries, client locations, task priorities, task status, projects, and dashboard. So here we have a CMS options, and you create a new task manager system for your company, and you can just divide the task and change the status of the task if it is completed or not, and it is running and started, and hold the positions and many more things. You can just track your teams by their projects. So just started now. So open your Visual Studio 2022, and here you can select that web and all platforms. Just you can select Windows and just all languages like that C sharp. So here we have the templates is model view controller by default ASP.NET Core Web App. Select and just click on the next button, and the project name is Task Manager. So Task Manager, and just click on the next button and create I'm going to support that is the 7.0 standard team support, and just I'm going to add .NET 7.0 standard team support. Okay, authentication type is none by default, just create it. So I have to create a new project in the .NET 7.0 standard team support. Okay, so here we have. So in 7.0 there is a nothing more important changes. I will later on discuss on the 7.0, that is you can add minimal support API. So here we have already seen in the 6.0, you can see, and app settings we have already seen like that, and also have this all nullable is also enabled, and implicit usings is also enables. So here we have already seen in 6.0. So okay, so everything is fine. Now just go for the next project structure, because I already divide the projects into the entire architectures. So first of all, divide the projects in entire architectures. So task manager is the web project, and just I want to add a new projects, that is the repositories project, models projects, and many more. So add a new projects, that is the class library projects, and the project's name is task manager models. So here we have task manager models, that is the class name, task manager models. So the default class is class 1, just delete it. And the next one is add a new project, the name a class library project, and add task manager repositories. Okay, so here we have to support .NET 7.0 dependencies. Default class 1 is deleted now. Okay, so repositories is there, models is there, and the UI is there, and the next one is repositories, models, and the next one is new projects, that is services. So class library, task manager, services, and then fine. Now services is also there, so just click to delete the default class 1. So here we have 4 projects in the solution, that is the UI projects, model projects, repository services, and the final one is the view model projects. So in the solution, just add a new project, and here we have the class library project, and just now to task manager, view models. So here we have task manager view models. So here we have task manager view models, and the last one is the utilities. There is the nothing, but it is important. So just add a new project, class library, and that is the task manager utilities. Okay, fine. So you have to just add a new thing into the project, that is the utility. So here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 projects in the solution. So the default utilities have the class 1, so just delete it. So just I am doing the next task you can do in your project, that is just I want to add countries in my project, because you can, if you can see, if you can saw of my PPT or my presentation, then you can saw a client location is also there. So here we have the countries list, just I want to add it into. So the next task is to add models in the project, that is the models project. So just add a new project, that is new class, that is the name is the country class. So country class, and here you can see that public, okay, and just open the models, okay. So here we have a country class, and just add prop integer id, country id, and then string country name. Okay, so here we have the country id and the country name, and that both are the required attribute if you want to take it. So just that is the key property, and if you want to add, that is the required, or otherwise you can say that that is the null. And also you can say that public required, that is the 7.0 features in C# 7.0 features, that is you can just mention it required attribute, write it here. So here we have public required string country name, so that's fine. And the next one, if you want to add repositories, just go into the repositories. Here you can see that data folder is there. So just add a new data folder and add a application DB context class. So add a new class, and the name is application DB context, and make it public. But already we have a code for the application DB context class. So just now go for the tools for the code snippets, and here you can see that here we have a data context. So data context class is already there. So just select this and just remove and replace with this file. Okay, so unpin this. Okay, and here we have, you can say that public class application DB context, and that class is inherited with the identity DB context class. And here we have two DB sets. So just make it, first of all, comment it to remove the errors. And here we have, you can say that the one constructor, application DB context option, application DB context with the option of the base class. So now I want to remove that error message from here. So just add a new package. So task manager repositories, you have to add a new manage NuGet package, and the package name is identity. And just select identity package from the given point. Okay, so here we have Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.identity.entity framework core. That package, just I want to use it, and latest stable is 7.0.2, that you can install it. Okay, so just I accept. Okay, everything is fine. Now just save this, and you can see that here we have a green check mark is also visible. Okay, now the next one is application. Just go into the application DB context class, and here you can see that the red arrows is there. Squiggly line is also visible in the just under your identity DB context. So if you want to remove this, so just press Control and dot key of your keyboard for shortcuts. So just you can use namespace, that is Microsoft ASP.NET Core.identity.entity framework core, and you can see that your error is removed from the identity DB context. So squiggly line is also removed from your just under identity DB context. Again, Control dot of your keyboard and select using Microsoft Entity Framework Core for your DB context options. So here you can see that all squiggly line are removed, and the next topic is to add DB set into the application DB context. So here we have only the one country is there. So just I want to add country, and the next is again just I want to make it a comment DB sent country, and again if you want to remove squiggly line, just use Control and dot key of your keyboard and just add a reference of task manager models. So just select it, and you can see that that country model is existing in the models folder, models project. So just change the name, that is countries. So very well, now you can see here we have the one you can say that country one model inside in your repositories in the application DB context class. Now the next one is if you have to add the application user for your models. So just add a new application user, or if you want to add it, there is a no need actually, so just add it. Okay, the next one is to just go for the next section, that is your task manager, and you can just add in the connection string in app.startings.json file. So just add it a connection string. So just again open tools and just add a SQL connection string right here. So the connection string parameter we have like the server, like database, trusted connection, multiple active result sets. We have already discussed about all these things. Just I want to change the name of the database. The database name is onlinehodl.web. Just change this with the task manager. So task manager DB. Okay, so the process is the similar. So here we have. Now save this. After that, you can just go for the next section. Just I want to register that connection string in the program.cs file. So here we have a program.cs file, and you can just register it here. After the build.services.add controller with views in the chain system. So just open tools again, and here you can say that the program is also there. So here we have a connection string. Just I want to add it. So here we have already added. So builder.services.add DB context. Inside it you can add it application DB context, options.use SQL server, and application DB context is actually exists in repositories of the data tab. So just add reference task manager repositories. Okay, so but you can see just I want to add it first of all. So application DB context is added as a reference. Now after that you can see SQL Server have an error message, generate a squiggly line. So you have to add a new package for SQL Server in the UI package. So just go for the UI package, UI project, and add manage NuGet package. On the browse tab, just click add uh, SQL Server, just line it SQL Server, and here you can see that lots of option is there, but you can select Microsoft Entity Framework or .SQL Server, and the package is latest stable 7.0.2 because just I'm uh, adding a new project in 7.0, so just I accept it. So here we have the latest stable. So Microsoft Entity Framework or .SQL Server is installed. Now again, just go into the program.cs file, and here we have a SQL Server is also there. So just use control dot and use Microsoft Entity Framework Core package right here. And after that you can say a new yellow line is visible, like change signature code refactoring provider encountered an error has been disabled. So what is this? Show is enabled. Okay, so here we have. Now you can see that everything is fine. Now if you want to add identity into your project, so just add a task manager and add a new scaffolding items, and after that here you have a MVC area. Just I want to add identity in my project. So before doing this, you have to add a repository section is right here. So already is added. Okay, so install NuGet packages. This may take a few minutes. Microsoft.Visual Studio, .web, .code generation, .design. Wait for some times for your scaffolding items of your identity. Identity is generated razor pages. So that is just move for the next. Okay, so here we have override all files, and data context file is application db context or data, and just I want to add it now. Installing NuGet packages for your identity packages. This may take a few minutes, moments. Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.identity.ui. So finally, your identity Razor pages is successfully installed in Areas tab. Here you have an identity, and the data is also there in application DB context, but already we have an application DB context, so just delete the data tab from your areas. And also just open your program.cs file, and here you can say that add default identity with the identity user option is there. So just I want to make it change, so just remove from here also. Okay, so I want to add it now after some times. Okay, so just save this, and here we have some error message in the packages. So here we have the package related information, Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.identity.ui package, and what is this? And just I want to update that package 7.0. Install the package, and here we have Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.identity.ui package with the 7.0, and here we have the latest table, but I don't know why this is happening. Okay, so after some times I will show you the details about this. Okay, so the next one is to check ASP.NET settings.json file, and here we have everything is right. Okay, now a program.cs file is also correct. So just remove from unusing namespace right here. Okay, so everything is fine. Now just I want to add a repository, a generic repository for basic CRUD operations like add a new country, delete a new country, delete existing country, details of the country, and get by ID by the country. So everything is fine, you know that. So just I want to open again repository project right here. So here we have a models project, and here we have a repositories project. So just I want to add a generic repository from here. So add new generic repository right like that. So here you can add two folders directory infrastructure and add a new interface inside it. And what is the interface? Where is an interface like that? And I generic repository from here, because just I want to add a generic repository, so that is the interface name, I generic repository from here. So here we have make it public interface, public I generic repository of class T. Just I want to add it, oops, T. Okay, and just I want to add some right here methods. So here we have already have an interface name I generic repository, and just you want to take it interface from here. So here we have that is the public interface I generic repository of T. Okay, T is for, that is the templates, and here we have a I enumerable of T, that is get all. Get all have an function expression, that is function T, and bool, that is the filter. Okay, so you can use the filter property like x tends to id dot is double equals to, that is like, so just use control dot of your keyboard shortcuts and using system dot link dot expression is there. So if you want to remove I include queryable data from T and object, so include if you want to add it. So Microsoft Entity Framework code dot I query, so just remove from here. So also we have four parameters in the get all function. First of all, where your all ID is there. So expression function of T bool type filter, function of I queryable data, I orderable query, order by, and function of I includable queryable, include, and the next one is disable tracking. That is that disable tracking is default is true. Okay, because the only tracked entity I want to use in all that, uh, only update function is used for tracking. Okay, the next just I want to get a T get by ID, that is object of ID, and the next one is get by ID async. So get by ID async, here we have an expression of the filter, include property, and disable tracking is false, that is the true, and add async, update async, delete async, and the delete range is also there. So here we have an simple code, and the next one is to add a implementation detail. So add a new directory in the repository section, just add a new folder, implementation. So in the implementation we have to add a new generic repository class. Okay, so just add a new class, generic repository. The name is generic repository, and here we have make it public, but already we have some code for your implementation. So just tools and implementation is like that. Okay. Okay, so here we have a generic repository. So the type of T, and that generic repository inherited with the I generic repository of T, where T is a class. Okay, so where is the I generic repository is actually exist using task manager repository dot infrastructure. So resolve this all things. Now after that you can that is iGeneric repositories actually have abstract signature methods like that. Just one by one I have discussed all these already. Error some error all remove all squiggly line. Okay, so under the DB set, just you can use Microsoft Entity Framework core. So remove this, and application DB context is also created. So just use control dot using task manager repositories of data. Okay, and the next method in the constructor you have just all these sets, and just I want to add a new entity. So you can just use dbset.add entity. You know very well about this. Now the next one is add async entity. So here we have dbset.add entity return entity, and the next one is to delete entity. So the context of the entity state is just I want to change it. So context dot entry of the entity dot state entity state dot detached dbset dot attach entity and dbset dot remove entity. Okay, and the next one is delete async. So just I want to enter the context dot entry of entity dot entity dot entity state is enumeration with the detached, and attach after that db set and remove from the entity. Okay, and the next one is the get all delete range like that, remove range entity list, and expression that is link dot system dot link dot expression is now. uh, Also we have Microsoft Entity Framework core dot query. Okay, so here we have just expand it, disable tracking. Disable tracking, I mean to say that if it is true, that is as not tracking. By default is not tracking. If it is true, that is tracking is enabled. Okay, so everything is fine. Now just move to the next one, that is get by id, that is dbset.find, and the next one is expression function of t dbset as not tracking. Okay, update of the entity, and the next one is update async dbset dot attach entity with the entity state. So already discussed in the lots of videos in lots of programming chapters in lots of projects already. So the next thing is to add unit of work on the generic repository. Okay, so the next is in infrastructure, that is unit of work. So I unit of work, just I want to add a new interface I unit of work, I unit of work, just I want to add it. So I unit of work is actually already there, I unit of work. So here we have I unit of work. Okay, so inside it here we have I generic repository of T, you know that, and here we have a method that is a generic repository, that is the name generic repository of T, where T is the class. Okay, and here we have additional method that is change, where we just use context dot save changes method, and in the generic repository just pass a instance name of the generic repository in the implementation. So in the implementations here we have just add a new class, and the name is unit of work, and unit of work is also already there. So just you can use unit of work. So here we have I unit of work, and application DB context. So just remove the squiggly line usings and a unit of work. So just add usings infrastructure, and here we have a generic repository. You know that is generic repository of T, where T is a class, and I generic repository of T, that is the named repo. Assigned that assigned that with the new generic repository of T with the context class, you can say that, and just generate the repo. Okay, uh, that is written. Okay, the method name is generic repository, but written is I generic repository of T. So here we have a generic repository repo, and initialize that with the new generic repository of T with the context. So save changes is the context.save changes. So finally, in the later session, I will use unit of work for your basic CRUD operations. Okay, like just applied on your country models. So here we have, okay, and many services is empty, utilities empty, and models is also empty. The next thing, you can just add a DB initializer that is inside it in the utilities, but just hold for the subsession, and I will use the page result class is also mentioned in the utilities. So wait for some times. I will connect you in the just after a few days, where my teamwork is completed on this project. Thank you very much for watching this video.